they're suffering from our boycott, and they're suffering in a way that maybe they did not anticipate, because it's not just conservatives who are trying to boycott Bud Light. Now the left is also trying to boycott Bud Light because they don't think that Bud Light responded strongly enough in defense of Dylan Mulvaney and the transgender ideology and wokeism to suit the Marxists who want and like and support and push all of those things on all of us. So the reason that Bud Light reportedly, allegedly, this was kind of the rumor at the time, the reason that Bud Light even made that can for Dylan Mulvaney is, because they had a marketing executive who was really woke. That I'm sure is true, but also the Human Rights Campaign has an index. It's part of an ESG metric called the Corporate Equality Index, and it quantifies businesses and gives them ratings based on these certain standards about whether they are an LGBTQIA plus friendly place to work, right? So these businesses are graded on this scale, this corporate equality index. And to make it even worse, it's not some like phantom vague thing online that maybe they have to keep an eye on with one eye if they want to maintain their woke credentials. No. The Human Rights Campaign actually sends representatives to individual businesses, essentially like a mob shakedown. They say, listen, if you don't want us to destroy you with a bad rating, then you will do what we say, right? They're like being paid. You have to essentially pay into the ideological pot for the protection of the wokesters, not to destroy you. It's exactly mob stuff. It's like mafia tactics all over again. Well, all this being said, the reason that Bud Light even hired Dylan Mulvaney or was a partner with Dylan Mulvaney was in pursuit of this corporate equality index. They previously had a perfect rating on their LGBTQIA plus friendly scale. Not so much anymore. It's not just conservatives who are boycotting Bud Light. Now the corporate equality index, this is from Eric Blom, who's the Senior Director of Programs and Corporate Advocacy. Sounds like bullying to me. At the Human Rights Campaign, said this: Anheuser-Busch had a key moment to really stand up and demonstrate the importance of their values of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and their response really fell short. That's what he said. So what happened is the Corporate Equality Index suspended Anheuser-Busch's perfect score and told, this is what the letter said, told the company that, quote, they no longer have a right to use the best places to work distinction. Ooh, what a threat. What a chilling threat. Imagine being on the inside of Anheuser-Busch right now. Budweiser, Bud Light, every way you turn, a lose. You know what? You could have avoided this. You could have become the most popular conservative brand in the country. You were already the most popular beer in the country. And with the force of half of Red America behind you, you could have soared to heights even eagles in your videos haven't achieved before. But instead you chose to be cowards. You chose to just say, oh, we didn't mean to be so controversial. Yes, hiring a man pretending to be a woman who's the most prominent transgender activist in the country was an accident. Right. No one believes that. They even have distributors now. Bud Light has distributors in the South begging for consumers to return, saying, oh, as a Budweiser distributor, we also feel the same way as you about the Dylan Mulvaney thing. Don't punish us. Let me tell you guys, that's not the way it works. You got to say to those distributors, nope. You as distributors say to Anheuser-Busch, we can't do business with you if this is who you're hiring and this is the ideology that you're promoting. It's anti-American, that ideology. Anti-American. Speaking of anti-American, the NAACP, believe it or not, this is a headline that actually, it's ironic that it comes out of Florida because it's a little bit like one of those Florida man headlines. Except this time, the NAACP has issued an active travel warning for Florida. An active travel warning for Florida, and you might be thinking, okay, but for who and why? They're warning, the NAACP is warning Black people not to travel to Florida because of Governor Ron DeSantis. And to explain why they're doing this, I'd like to subject you all to a video from CNN, for which I make no apologies. This is the funniest CNN video that you'll see all week because CNN, let's be real, isn't that funny? But this one is. Take a look.
NAACP has issued a travel advisory for Florida, and it's urging the Black community to avoid visiting or moving to the Sunshine State. According to the statement, the advisory comes in direct response to Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' quote, aggressive attempts to erase Black history. And it calls Florida openly hostile toward African Americans, people of color, and the LGBTQ individuals. CNN has reached out to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for comment, but did not receive a response.
That's actually my favorite part of the video at the end, when it says CNN reached out to Governor Ron DeSantis, but we did not receive a response. No, you didn't. And you shouldn't expect one, because you're liars, you're purveyors of fake news, and you are hilariously racist. What Governor Ron DeSantis outlawed in Florida was critical race theory. He outlawed the so-called, this is a euphemism, African American studies, which is just critical race theory packaged to indoctrinate children into thinking that white children are inherently racist and Black children are inherently oppressed, and that there is racial tension between the two, that nothing about your character, nothing about your behavior, nothing about equality under the law could ever possibly smooth over, could ever possibly find an equilibrium. It's evil stuff that's in the critical race theory, African American studies. That's what Governor Ron DeSantis banned. And because of that, this is what the NAACP said. Florida's openly hostile towards African Americans, people of color, and LGBTQ plus individuals. Before traveling to Florida, please understand that the state of Florida devalues and marginalizes the contributions of and the challenges faced by African Americans and other communities of color. Wow. Wow. So what does this tell you? The left is so desperate. I almost say that this is the left's final frontier. They have exhausted all of the subtle methods, all of the infiltration. They've captured our institutions. They've inserted insinuations into pop culture and movies and on TikTok. And now they're just being overt. Now they're like pushing the entire pot into the table. They're all in. They are targeting toddlers and babies in Target. They're telling Black people not to travel to Florida because Governor Ron DeSantis said you can't indoctrinate the school children of Florida in Marxist theories. They're not even hiding it anymore. It's overt. And we cannot just sit back and laugh. We cannot just sit back and grump about it. We cannot just play defense. We have to go on offense. If these corporations are targeting our children, we're done. End them. Don't spend another dime, another penny of your money at these corporations. In the marketplace, suffocate them out of existence. They don't deserve to exist if what they're doing is trying to destroy our kids. It's evil, and the designer behind it proved that. Guys, if you haven't already signed up for my newsletter at lizwheeler.com, now's the perfect time to do that. All these topics that we're talking about, it's kind of just a matter of time before we're kicked off of YouTube. We know that based on how many strikes we've gotten recently. But I really want to make sure that we are in touch if and when that day does happen. So drop me your email address, go to lizwheeler.com. That's lizwheeler.com. Drop me your email address so that we can stay in touch. And while you're there, let me know what you think of our brand new website. Leave me a comment if you want. Tell me what you like, you don't like. Visit lizwheeler.com.